Welcome back, students. So this is the point where we left our last lecture. Okay, we talk about in the previous lecture we talk about the layout widgets. We also talk about the single child widgets and the multi-child widgets. We also talk about the box types, how we are rendering them, layout widgets, and so on. So we talk about all those things, and then later on we establish that first chapter. So we want to add some assets, create a project, and inside we create that project. We create an image folder, assets folder, and then inside the assets folder we create that images folder, and then images folder we put one image, and then we start working on the project, and then it start working. So actually, I just re do the things a bit. So in the first page, I'm putting these container and the image inside the page only and directly, and then they are in the column. So it means they will be organized into a vertical direction. And then if we want to change, I copy pasted that widget that show me the images in a multiple places. Okay, and then what I did, if I want to change one thing inside it here, that some property or something. For example, if I want to change the color of the border to the green, then I need to go at the multiple places and go and change that value. But if I make it a separate widget, we call it a custom widget, then it makes our life easier. And then we will see that how we can customize with the more things. We can give different values inside for the property, for example, for the size, for the color, for the border width and border radius and so on. So we can customize while we don't need to rewrite this code again and again. Okay. So, we are trying to make it a function, but it is more like a class. Yes. It is a widget class or customized widget class that we are going to make, or we have already have actually made. So it is a class bordered image, and then it is a stateless widget. And then inside the stateless widget, as we discussed in the last class, the stateless widget means that we cannot have the variables inside that class, and we cannot change those values later on once it is created. Okay, so if I just try to remove all that, you know remove that whole multiple containers with the images and so on, if we just replace them with we have a bordered image, and then it say that we need the color. If I just try to remove that part as well, rather than, I don't want this color as well, and then of course I did need to remove that thing. Just without any customization. If I do that and I just come back here, it say that we don't need this color anymore. I just remove that part and then done. So if I just put the semicolon here and then I put Shift Alt and press down arrow, I can copy as many time as when you want. And when I save it, you can see that it create as many widgets, the bordered images as we want. We just need to copy paste, just make one line rather than copy paste the whole this part, the container, including the container and its size. So now we can customize. For example, if you look at here, it is more like a size. So I say that we can create a font. We say color will be used here. Instead of this colors.blue, I will say that whatever that color exists inside this variable, replace that with the color, border color. Then width, and then I say this is what you can say, that I say final, and then I say double, and then I say border width. And then why I am making this final? Because we need to initialize these variables when we are creating the object of that class. What does the final keyword exactly do? Final keyword makes that once you initialize the value, after that it become a constant, we cannot change it. But first time we can give the value. And then we say also have a double, and then we say size. Now we need to make a few changes, of course, here. So here it says size plus 2 multiplied by border width, because it is coming in the both sides. Okay, so I say size plus 2 multiplied by border width. And then I think the for the height, I need to have the same here as well. So rather than I give the value by myself, I am using these variables to initialize the size or the values of that one. And then same, sorry? Yeah, we are trying to make dynamic. So when from the first page, when we pass on the value, it automatically adjusts the size and the things for us. So here I say border width, and then the other thing is a color. If you want to make that radius as well, we can do that. We can add one more variable. The main thing that I want to emphasize here, there are 4 different types of the parameters that we can pass inside the function. The first one is a positional parameter. Remember that inside you, for example, if I say uh, double, and then if we say size and then space. So this is a positional parameter. First parameter should be a double value size, positional parameter. Then the second type of the parameter which exists in the Dart language is the positional, but they are optional. Okay. So positional and optional, they will be something like this. And here I need to specify the value. So that is, again, I will share a link where you can go and check these positional and the. So one is the positional. And the other one, the next third one is the, we call them the named parameter. Named parameter mean that we can just like here, if I say that I want this dot color, for example, then I say this dot border width. So if you look at that here, I don't need to specify this variable here. Why? Because it is a positional parameter that is coming from this size, but it is also, let's say, but anyway, let me see. It should be border width. Yep. So this is the border width. And the other thing that it is saying that what it is saying, it is giving me the error. The parameter border cannot be of a value null. Mama, we need to provide that value because it is a. So we, if we do that, then we can say just like come down here, and then I can give the values here. For example, it is asking me we need a one positional argument that is some value. For example, if I say 100. You can make the value by default equal. Yeah, we can say default values as well. Yes, we can. That is mean that you are, if, look, if this is a positional required value, for here, we can't say default value. We need say, we are saying that you need to provide me the value. If you don't provide me the value, I can't say, I can't move forward. It is a syntax error. It is a compiler error. You know, I cannot compile a program. But here I say, once it is given, look, it is telling me that yes, you can, 100 here. If I say 150, and then let me, remove that part, and then I can make some copies here. For example, I save it. Now it still say that the uh, size value is done, but we don't have not provided the color values and so on. So we can also say assign the values here. If it is not given, then you can. So once it is not given, for example, colors dot blue gray, and then the border width is by default is 3.0, for example. When I do that, and then I still it is giving me the error message. The color is a final and was given a value one when it is declared. It was declared, so it cannot be set to a new value. Yeah, this is another thing. So what we can do, we can put that value here, default value. Rather than putting here, I put that inside the, and then similarly, I can put this value for the width. Okay. and then save the image. All final variable must be initialized. So where is that? All final variable must be initialized. So we have specified the size, we have specified the color and the border. Arrow factor array size is initialized. Try to initialize the field in the declaration or in every constructor. Size. Yeah, size, but I'm be giving that double value size that must be given by the here. So if you look at here, it has given me. Okay. I'm just trying to be, then we say size. No, let me check what I'm making. Yeah, this is a double size. And this is a parameter, is a positional parameter. It is a named it is a parameter with the value. So it should come down here. Yeah. No, we are taking as a parameter. Doesn't matter if the public or private, We are just getting a positional parameter. You understand? The point is that I am initializing that value, the name, undefined name size. If it is coming from the border, okay, I say this dot size. No, dot size. Okay, so it is not coming, but let me check. The main thing is that, let me put it here, final, and then I say size, or that should be a double value. When I do that, that's fine. Here I can also give the size value. Okay, and then here I say it. We are saying that we will have the value, but let me put it here as well. This one as well. So what is that? We say this dot size and put a semicolon here. So I remove that positional parameter. But the main point is that you understand we have a positional parameters. Then we have optional positional parameters in which we have given that the value is given by the calling function or not. So we can adjust to that one. If it is given, then we will use it. Otherwise, we will not say, because if we don't provide a value, then the value for that parameter will be null. And then we can check. If it is null, then we are not using that thing inside our calculation or something. But if it is not null, then we can use it. Okay. And then we have the named parameters, and then we have a required name parameters. If I just, for example, in these two cases, so here I put a keyword required. Okay. So in here we are saying that these are the named parameters: size, color, and the border width. The first one is required. Whenever we are creating the object of this class, we have to provide the value of the size. For the other two, we are using the default values. They are required. I mean, we need the values of those parameters, but we are not making it compulsory to the first page that it should provide me that values. So if they have provided, okay. Otherwise, we can use the default value. Okay, so let's come back here. And because now they are the named parameters, so we also, let me remove this thing, Control S. And then I don't want to do that. I want to make it new line, put a semicolon at the end. And then I say color. Oh, sorry, size. Size is the required parameter. So again, I say 100.0. And then if I do that, it is giving me using the default value for the color and the border width. But if I don't do that, then it means that we need to provide. So we can provide some parameters and some are not. Some, all of them are the named parameters. It means that we always select the name and then we give the value. And the good thing for the named parameter is, if I just try to make one copy of this one, I can give in any order. You know, it is a size, Size is the first one. If you look at our, we have a first value is a size, the second value is a color, and the third value is the bandwidth. But we can give it any order. For example, I say color, colors dot green, green. I save it. I can see the border color has been turned into green. And then what else? I just make one more copy here, and then I say border width. I make it 5. So I can see a image with the width, border width is equal to 5. Okay. So now I can customize our custom widget based on the parameters. Even it is a stateless widget, I can customize according to my need. And then if I just try to make the copies of this last one more multiple time, so now you can see that this is going out of the screen. So let's go back to the slides and check what's happening over. We added the asset. We also make sure that in the pubspec.yaml we enable the assets, and then we specify where as our assets are, and then based on that we can use that one. Either we can update these pubspec using that one, or we can run the command flutter pubget. We already see in the, then we are creating actually a new widget in the lib folder. We are making a widgets folder, and then inside widgets folder we are creating a file bordered underscore image dot dart. And then we are actually creating that what you can say that we have created the final variables inside our bordered image, and that will be a child for the stateless widget. And we have a double border width, border color, border radius. We have not seen the border radius, but we can add it, okay, if we want it. And then accordingly we can select the we are creating the constructor of that class. And then at the end we are actually creating that widget that is going to be displayed on the page or on the screen. And then inside the pages folder, we create a pages folder. Inside the pages folder we create a home page, our first page, whatever name that you want to give the class, but that will be again a stateless widget. And then inside we are actually making body is equal to border.image, and then we are organizing that thing inside the main.dart. We call that create that image as a, create that home page as a first screen, and then show that on the screen. So it will, because right now if you look at our main that widget here, it only show me one image. That's it. Okay. So it is one image. Okay. And then if I want to make it center, then I make a center widget, and then I make that bordered image as a child of the center. So it comes in the center of the screen. And if I want to make in the column, I can say column, and then in the children, I have multiple bordered images inside that we have just seen. And if I look into my code, I am also putting that column inside the center. So that is the reason it is coming in the center of the screen. Okay. Because where is my, yeah, center, and center contains the column, and inside the column I have multiple images. And again, if I add more borders, put the row wise, if I just replace the column with the row, it will show the images inside the row. Again, putting the row inside the center, so that will put that into the center of the screen. And cross, I mean, we are talking about column and we are talking about the rows. In the column, the main axis is the vertical axis. Okay. And then cross axis is the other way, because we have a vertical and then horizontal. But if you look at the row, the main axis in which the widgets are being organized, it is the horizontal. So here the row, the main axis is the horizontal axis, and the row and the cross axis is the vertical ones. So if I just remember, if I just try to move that one, I mean these things on the left side, then I can rather than they go into the because vertical axis is a column, vertical axis is the main axis. So here I can say that I can say cross axis alignment, and then I say cross axis alignment dot start. If I do that, it is coming because we are putting in the center. If I just remove that center, let me remove that column and then remove the center and put the column here. So now you can see that it is coming from the center. Okay, the other thing is that we want to discuss here is, I mean, we can put the column and then we can align them into the center. Again, they are different combinations, center and the rows and the columns. Row widget, again, we are trying to make main axis alignment. I mean, if we have, for example, let me go back to the uh, here and show me this one. If I just try to remove that part, remove some, I just control X and then save it. So now it is on the main axis, it is aligning itself to the top of that screen. Now, if I just go back here in the page and then I say I want to make them center line, I say main axis alignment and then I say main axis alignment dot center. So it will come in the center of vertically center of the screen. Okay. So we can apply main axis and cross axis. Right now, the cross axis is not working. Why? Because the size of this column, the width of that column is equal to that one. So it is more like if I can um, draw my, can I have a pen here? I can't have a pen here, but I can go into this one and I can say Control P. So actually the size, if I apply the cross axis alignment, then they are not going to work. The reason is that the size of this row is like that. So we cannot move up and down because the size is very tight. But yes, if we have a size which is covering the whole screen, then definitely then the cross axis alignment will also work. On the start mean top, end mean bottom, center mean of course right. Okay. Okay. But right now, if I look in the code which we are running, this cross-axis alignment does not have any kind of an effect on it right now because the column width is very, very tight and it is right in the start of the screen. Okay. Okay, so we talk about that. Then again, we have different type of start. Start mean that if it is the vertical alignment, then it will start mean top, end mean bottom, and center, of course, center. And then we can also say space around, space between, space evenly. That we can just quickly check with our, like here, if I say center, then I say space, not here. I just want to collect space between. So between these widgets, they have space. Space around. So it is trying to around those spaces. Yes. For the spaces, no, it look at the available space and accordingly the sizes of the widgets, and then accordingly it adjusts itself. Yeah, based on the size of the screen. Then we have a space around. What else we have checked? Have not checked. We talk about space around, space evenly, space around and space evenly. More or less, they are doing the same thing. Now this is again space evenly. Okay, right in the center, and then it leaves the same number of same space from the top and bottom and between them. So accordingly, number of the widgets and the size of the screen, based on that it decide that how much space it need to leave. So these are the different spacing options. Okay. Yes. Sorry. In the cross axis, yes, we can do the same thing. But normally when we are in the cross axis we have a list, one row, one column. So normally what we can say, we can put it on the center, we can put on the left side, put it on the right side. but we cannot have that space even, but it doesn't make sense because only one thing is there. Okay. So we have these are the three different possibilities of the spacing between the elements inside the row or the column. Again, we are talking about the space and we are having that main axis, then we are putting the container, and then we are trying to put a row inside, how we display change. What do you mean vertical? You can display by horizontal or vertical. Yes, row. If it is a row, it will show like this, horizontal. If it is a column, then it will show vertical. And right now, actually, we try to make that container. If we look at the container here, we are putting the margin, we are putting the padding, and then we are also putting the height. Because if I apply the cross axis alignment here on this one, now it will go up and down or center. Why? Because we have make that container bigger, which contain that row. So we say that media query again. Remember that media query is that we are asking the media what is your size. So media query dot off context, what is the size of that screen, and then we are getting the height. So we are saying that set the height of this container which contain this row equal to the height of the screen, and now we have ample space. And now if we apply the what you can say that apply the cross alignment, then it will become center of the screen. If I say start here at this one, the cross alignment here, start, it will go to the top of the screen. If I say end, it will go to the bottom of the screen. Okay. And definitely because on the vertical side is only one widget, space evenly or space between doesn't make sense here. Okay. Top of the screen mean, yeah, if I just do that, so now this container is covering the whole screen. And now if top mean like this here, somewhere here, because we are putting some padding as well. We are leaving some space padding, and if we don't put the padding and the margin, then of course it will try to touch that the this one here like this. Okay. Okay. And then we have a box model. Every widget that you show on the screen, it is actually a rectangle. It has a height, it has a width, it also has the top left corner. Okay, that specifies its position actually inside it. So rectangle box position left top corner, and then we have a size, dimensions, width, and height. We can specify. Some widgets automatically allow you to specify it, like container. You can specify height and width, but some does not. For that one, you need to enclose that into another widget, which actually allow you to specify the height and width. And in this way, just we did for the row. Okay. Padding space inside the widget, but between the border and the contents. And then we also have the margin. Margin mean the empty space between two widgets. That is called margin. So these are the box model for any. Even for that is true for the web development. It is also true for the Windows development. It is also true for all kind of different type of wherever we are using the GUI. This box model works over there. Yeah, spacing and size and the position of that rectangle inside our GUI elements. Okay, so now we also how we can overcome this kind of a problem when we our GUI is actually going out of the screen. When it is going out of the screen, how we can fix it? Because it is saying that you have some part of UI. Whenever you see this, that's this yellow and black line, this one, like this one, it means that it's saying where Flutter is warning you that your GUI is going out of the screen and the user cannot access it. There's no way that user can access it. And if I just go back here and try to put more widgets inside rather than even I say okay, just leave it like that, and then I just try to make this more widgets here. Save. Still we have space. Okay, no problem. Say save. Now look at that. It say that there is some. If even if I put more widgets over there, it say that you are going out of the screen. So how we can fix that problem? The first of all, let me one more thing. Our I mean, right now this one is not working cross axis. Why? The size of this column is very based on the width of the image. So we want to fix it. First of all, let me put that thing here. So I remove that column, and inside, rather than I have a container, and inside the container I say width is equal to media query dot off. No, okay, I missing a here, media query dot off, and then I say context, and then I say dot size. So we are not this one, size. So what I'm saying, from the media in which I'm displaying it, I want to get its size. And now what is I'm looking for? I'm looking for the width of that one. So when I do that, I there's nothing here because we do not specify any child yet. Okay. So that is the reason. So we just enter here, and then after that, we just put a comma, and then I say child, and child is our column. When I do that, we are putting one extra comma. So now you can see that because I am putting at the start, so that's why it is linked to the start of the left side of the image. If I say end, it will go to the right side of the screen. If I say center, it will come here. But if I say space, even for the space, it does not show me. It says you can only, for the cross, you can only say left start or end. Okay, or center. So you have only these options for the cross. Okay. Number one thing, because now we know that there is something going out. How we can do that? Either we can remove those elements which are going out of the screen, or arrange them in a different way, or we can scrolling, we can apply some scrolling. So let's what it is saying, that use of the size box. Okay, wow, I don't want to do that. So what I will do, I will just remove that container, and inside I say single child scroll view, and then here in the child I put that container, and again I'm putting the here two semicolons, so that's two colons, two commas actually, so it is giving me an error message. Now if I can scroll up and down, so because I can access every part of my UI, that warning go away. Okay, so these are, do you know that now how to solve these kind of warnings is something. It's whenever you see these kind of yellow and the black stripe, it means that there is something going out of that thing, because here it is going from the right side, it is giving you from the right side, but in our case it will show from the bottom. Why? Because something going from the bottom outside of the screen. Okay, again, this many pixels has been going out of the screen, so you need to fix that problem. Two ways to handle this thing. Dictate how much space a widget should take up relative to its siblings. Now, rather than using the scroll, what we can do, we can say adjust your size. Okay, and what is that? How we can do that? We can say row is a space evenly. Space evenly. So we are using a spacing part. So let me, what you can say that, let's go back to the here, and then rather than I say space, I am using the space evenly. Then why it is, okay, let me check the properties. So we said dictate how much space a widget should take up relative to its siblings. So we are saying space evenly. Even space evenly is work only when you have a very limited amount of the text, which is the GUI, which is going out of the screen. But in our case, we have a lot of space, so which cannot be covered in the space evenly. Okay, center line. But let me check again. Yeah. So let's remove Control Z, remove even the container as well. I don't want to use that container. I just say that space evenly. What happened? And Control S. Again, it is still saying me that because we are using space evenly. But if we are, for example, if I have only one thing here, Control S, still which is going out. So now space evenly it works, but yeah, sometime it works if we have a very limited amount of space. But otherwise, we have to use the scroll. Okay. So it is trying to we are say space evenly for the row. It somehow it works because it is trying to squeeze that. But why not column? Okay, no problem. What we can do, we can check this thing using the column row. Okay, so we can put rather than I just change it to row, and now it is there. So let me come here, Control S. It is not allowing me to you know change that thing. On the other side, when I see that it is working, maybe we are parameterizing everything by ourselves, so that's why we are specifying the size and it does not allow that to squeeze it. But we need to check. I will check it again. Okay. So space evenly, or we can say that flex is equal to 2 mean we can specify that one element is the double of the size of the others. So when wherever we have applied a flex, that become the double of the size of the other space. And then again, we can apply the scroll on it. And that is the end of our lecture today. Any questions so far? So I have recorded this lecture and I will upload it on the YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed, please